Hey folks, Quillyteen here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Surviving Mars. And I'm thinking about naming this Let's Play. I've made a huge mistake. In this case, picking a relatively hard starting, sponsor and everything, and then putting ourselves in a place with horrible, horrible disasters. This might be a really short Let's Play and forcing us to restart after everyone dies from, Meteor Storms, but we'll do what we can. Let's go ahead and unpause here. Our rocket, the Quill rocket, has just returned home to Earth, and I'm going to load it. It might be a little risky, but I'm going to go ahead and load it with passengers right away. So I'm going to go, and first thing I'm going to do is just say we're not going to accept anyone with any flaws, not just the non-bad ones. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And so we have 33 matching colonists, which is going to be A-okay. I'm going to go ahead and launch this Quill rocket and get over here. Now that Quill rocket's going to arrive with 12 passengers and 12 food, which is why it's going to be important for us to start growing food right away as soon as they show up. I just realized the timer for this might actually tick on its own here. So let me go and just cancel this to make sure we start a fresh wheat crop once they get there. I know we're low on machine parts. It's actually going to be a problem because things might break down. What we need is this thing to refill. Oh, that's right. I was going to wait. Yeah, maybe. It's been a few days since I played the last session. I was going to wait to maybe have both these back to back because we could theoretically run out of machine parts. That being said, we could also start building machine parts right away. Wow, this needs maintenance instantly. I think this got smacked by maybe some meteorites, so that's why it's so high up on maintenance over here. We do have some spare electronics, which is good. If we need a bunch of polymers, we might be in a hard place. We got some new techs available for research, 3D printing, micro manufacturing. That's because I sent my explorer to check out one of these key anomalies here. I'm going to go, before I pick up all the science ones, I'm going to pick up the close by key ones to unlock as many visible techs as we possibly have, so that we can make some decisions about our queue over here. So that's going to unlock some more tech options, which is good. You're just chilling over here, which is fine. Oh, this transport vessel. You know what you're going to do? You are going to create a transport route from here to, just dump it here. Just dump raw metal over there. There we go. So I like that. That's actually going to be very handy. To keep plenty of metal around. I mean, we've got a fair amount available now, but we'll have more. You can see the number going up. And that way there'll be plenty of metal, even if we don't activate our mine. I might want to keep the mine off. Just make sure everyone's working in the machine parts factory. This is not even a very good mine at very low grade. Yeah, we've got to have plenty of metal around the map. We'll keep sending out the RC transport to pick up some for us, and that's going to be good. We are almost out of our scanning queue here. I mean, there's not much land there, but at least it scans fairly quickly. So we're going to go ahead and set that up. Keep an eye on our Explorer here. We're on fastest speed. Excellent. Oh, you popped that one already. Excellent. We'll go ahead and recharge. Now, I mean, if you click on the grid, it actually puts in a recharge battery from grid command. But if you click next to it, it doesn't have the command. But I think as long as you're on the cable, it's going to charge anyway. So it's not actually as critical to, tune your clicks precisely as it looks. High-rise engineering for the apartment. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cancel that. We don't need the apartments right now. Rockets and shuttles needing less fuel will be very convenient. We don't need the passenger rockets to carry more colonists yet. We can unlock blueprints for electronic factories soon. Yeah, that'd be nice. The low-G fungi as well. These get pretty expensive over here. But actually, the rover bots no longer needing power is actually kind of handy because it gives us a lot of flexibility to send them out of range of areas, as well as recharging any rovers that get damaged somewhere along the way. Drone battery capacity increased 50%. So they have to stop to recharge less often, which keeps things going pretty quickly. This is turning very expensive, though. Here's what I'm thinking of doing. Scientists and botanists. Oh, I should have asked for specific preferences. These are cheap techs, and of course we get money every time we complete a technology. So I'm going to queue up these two. I mean, it will help if we get these specializations as well. And more importantly, every time we complete a tech in a tree, it reveals a new one. There's going to be one over here that can give us a bunch of money from crowdsourcing something, and that might be really handy to do. By the way, as far as I know, when you're in the science screen, it actually pauses the game. Because you can see when you get back to the game, it switches from that pause icon to a play icon here. So I don't think time passes while you're looking at the research screen. And sometimes I'm like, oh, how's this job not done? And I realize, well, it's because I've just been looking at text. And it's probably a good thing that texts don't advance while you're at the research screen because, you don't see alerts and stuff. Okay, now we don't actually have to land this right away. If we were worried and wanted to give more time for this to fill up. But I think it's going to be all right. I'm going to go ahead and land it. I'll land it near the dome. It's going to be in range of... Hold on a sec. We've got... Yeah, so I just want to make sure it's in range of the drone hub so that we can unload the food. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and unload it over here. So get a rocket to come down. 12 people will jump in here. We'll get them to start working the farm right away. In fact, the farm, I'm going to say it's going to be the highest priority. We'll make sure that it's got all the people in here.
The first founders have set foot on the Red Planet.
All right, having a sip of coffee there. So, we have 10 souls where we can't request more people from Earth, because they want to prove that the first group can survive. So, as long as we're still okay after 10 souls, then we can start bringing more people. If we happen to have a baby before then that'll also be proof that everything is good, and that's just going to require very high comfort in the dome. Now, I'm not sure that we're going to be boosting the comfort that much. And I don't think we're going to be prioritizing that necessarily. I'm going to lower the priority on this rocket here because this one's already fairly starting to get full of fuel. I'm going to bring it back up to a 2. Am I? Yeah, that's fine. We've got nothing else to do with the fuel. Yeah, I'll bring it up to a 2, leave that one as a 1. So the fuel will go here preferentially, which will be good. So the food is unloading. So we've got some food over here. Crops are starting to be produced over here. And yeah, we're going to start with the wheat. It's got the fastest turnaround, not the highest yield, but it makes sure we get a little bit of food in the system right away. And over here, the machine parts factory got some workers. So we have 1 vacant work slot. So let's see, we've got 6 here. 2 more there, that brings us up to 8. Yep, there we go, 12 people working. Excellent. So we are starting to produce some machine parts, which is good because we were very low. We have plenty of steel. You can, in fact, see our transport over here has delivered much metal, I guess. I'll call it steel, but it's actually metals. We're going to do more of it. I'm going to grab from this far patch, and I'll do it with the transport route here. And what it's going to do, it's going to go until that patch is empty, which, honestly, could only be 1 trip, depending on how many is here. Yeah, it's only 1 trip. It's not even a full trip. Oh, good! We've got a dust storm coming! Well, at least we're going to have plenty of power from the wind turbines to compensate for the fact that the solar panels won't really. Its effectiveness is decreased by dust accumulation and during dust storms. Protected from dust while turned off. So, I'm going to want to turn off the solar panels completely during the dust storm so that they don't get as much dust accumulation. Luckily, maintaining them is only metal. And, you know, that's fairly easy to come by for now. So, yeah, having the grocer is great. Food gets brought in here, which does simplify some of the movement a little bit and gives them a better happiness thing. Let's say we click on one of these fellas over here. Their comfort, it always starts off as 50, so not enough time has passed to really change their comfort. Fully healthy and fully sane, so he's getting some extra morale boost over here. Founder, party animal, so he's going to want more social activities, which we don't really have right now. We could set up a diner. That would require more people, though, to run the diner, so we'll probably have to put up with not having it for now. Machine parts low. You've got that. Dust storm coming. I'll have to be okay. You're halfway full. We found some more anomalies. Oh, speaking of, RC Explorer, you are now full. We can send you out. We'll do this. This might reveal a breakthrough that we might be interested in researching. And we might actually put it in the top of the queue and then hit the flask over here. I always want to call it beaker, because, like, the old, like, Civ games and everything, you'd refer to things as beakers, and then you got replaced by, like, what are these? Erlenmeyer flasks is, like, the standard science icon in all games now. But I'm pretty sure it started with actual beakers. Now I'm just thinking of the Muppets. I loved beakers so much. Alright, scanning that. 1 day away from this. We got a pipe malfunction. That's okay. We've got metal galore to fix that up. Oh, I usually like to have some universal storage right next to my dome here. And maybe a food storage as well, which I think is probably a good idea. So let me get an extra universal storage over here, so we still have some room for maybe a building on the power line. And then food storage. We don't have enough food to make it.
It was a vein rich with ore.
Ooh.
But the data turned out to be incorrect. Under those fine red sands lay the intact hull of a rover.
We found the Curiosity! Oh, that's awesome! It belonged in the museum. On the other hand, it was an opportunity to gain more parts that we could rarely get our hands on. Tough decision. So either I can send it back to Earth, which seems inefficient. Oh, well, that would be the museum, and then we get $500,000 in funding. Well, maybe that is for parts. But yeah, we can display it as a monument in a colony, gain a lifetime 10% research boost to social research. I think we've got to go with this one. First of all, it's cool. Yes, I want to make the Curiosity into a statue. And the social research boost will be good. And for us, research equals money, so that's going to be fine. So we're at 500 right now because we got our sponsor, plus we've got the one explorer. We could get a second explorer. There is diminishing returns. I think they'd go from 100 each to like 90 each. But, I mean, that's still more science overall. I don't think we really need 2 explorers, though, is the thing. So I don't think using our precious money to do that would be worthwhile. So that didn't actually pop an anomaly. Do I want... Yeah, you know what? I would love to finish the lower... I think it's like a -20. It might be percentage-based, but it might be a -20 requirement in fuel for the rockets, bringing them from 60 to 40. I know if you're playing one of the people who need more fuel, and you need like 100 per rocket, researching that text brings it down to 80. But I feel very strongly that it goes from 60 to 40 over here, and that's a huge fuel saving. And means, like... Yeah, it's not the end of the world to produce the fuel, because we're just using water. So it's not necessarily the fact that we use fuel that bothers me, but it dramatically reduces the turnaround time of our rockets, which will be handy. So we got some more scans. We will need some new antennas out over here at some point. Oh, I forgot I did advance the antenna over here, so we actually have some very fast scanning over here. Machine parts and food is low. We are down to 5 food, and we're consuming 2 per day. How far are we from this... this harvest here? All right, pretty close. I think we're gonna be okay. And I'm wondering if I should just keep going with the wheat for now. The soybeans, they're both low yield, I guess. You know what? The soybeans will be fine. They're both low yield, but the soybeans take longer to grow. I think we'll be okay if we just get this going on. I don't know. Well, soon this ship is gonna go back to Earth. There we go, down to 40. Look at that. Bam. Bam! That's huge. And then we can return this with food, which would be good. So I guess we'll go here and we'll pop some more techs. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I did not have my Gmail muted. Hello, Essentia! No, that's Briarstone, hey! Haha, we're talking about Stellaris in chat here. Because a bunch of... this is the day... I'm recording this on March the 1st, so the patch notes for Stellaris 2.0.2 just got dropped. And so we were having discussions about how that modified our games and whatnot. Dust Storm is beginning now. We have produced food, hooray! So we got 18 here. So it's only going to last 9 days. How long is our turnaround over here? 5 souls total to grow. So in 4 days we'll have some at this point. Yeah, no, we're fine. We're going to be fine on food. We're not going to run out. That's excellent. I do love the fact that you can see that breakdown. We did anomalize a new anomaly. Yes. Low G turbines is good. Stirling Generators are great. Stirling Generators generate huge amounts of power. They're 10 at a base. They actually generate 20 when they're open, but are super vulnerable from dust. They're fairly expensive to build. Still, like, despite the cost to build them, because it's all advanced resources, this thing generating 10 power, that's a lot of power. And when it's closed, it's immune to dust, which means a lot less maintenance. That being said, I really like the low G turbines here. Just increases power production from our wind turbines by 33%, which is going to be really valuable, especially when we're on top of the ridge and we get a huge boost to power production in the first place. There's no increased maintenance. I think there's going to be a one-time cost of maybe like 2 polymer to do the upgrade, but that's going to be fairly nice to grab. I'm going to queue it up for now. Oh, there's our Shuttle Hub. This is such a good way to move goods around, especially as we expand. 4,500 research is very expensive, but it's going to be really potent. I don't know what the order of tech's going to be. I'm going to queue it up for now. Almost certainly I'm going to be unqueuing and requeuing things very, very shortly, but we'll leave it there. So we got the Dust Storm. I'm going to go ahead and do this anyway here, but this rover, oh, he's going to run low on power. He actually might not quite make it back, but that's okay. We can always fix you on the way home. This, oh, that's the RC transport. You... go here.
Anomaly found.
So the RC rover is not going to need any power soon, which is good. And you're on a power grid, so he's always charging. We'll be able to go and rescue the other thing. Low on machine parts, true. And it tells you that because it knows how much you're using, right? So we're producing about 2 per day. In the last soul, right? These are all the stats from the last soul. We produced 2. We didn't consume any. It's true. We have nothing that has a regular consumption of machine parts. And we didn't do any maintenance in the last day, but, you know, from time to time that'll happen.
Breakthrough discovered.
Oh, our first breakthrough. Let's look at that in a second. Let me go and bring you back. I think you're going to make it home just fine. I think the rovers use a lot more power when they're analyzing than anything else, so we're going to get you over here. Breakthrough. So breakthroughs are special techs that you are not guaranteed to get from game to game. And they tend to do really cool things. Sometimes they're just sort of vanilla. This is a little bit more vanilla-ish. Okay, no, this is actually really strong, though. Like, it's not, like, crazy. Like, there's some crazy things that change a lot of the rules, Soylent Green, that you can get in breakthroughs later on. This is just make existing things better. So this is a 50% boost to all of our extractors. I believe that will apply to water, concrete. It probably applies to the metal and rich metals extractors as well. 50% boost, and this does not use extra power. There's another extractor booster that it's 25% boost, but takes like 10 more power. This is going to be huge. Okay, we're going to go in this order. First of all, we get double the money from getting breakthroughs, so that's going to be nice. I'm still going to do these two here because they're really cheap, and I want to see what else comes up in the social track. So I'm going to be okay with that. We do have the existing dust storm, so there's going to be increased maintenance. Oh, I'm going to go and explicitly, I'm going to control-click all the solar panels to explicitly turn them off. Because it's nighttime right now, they're already closed, but I want to keep them closed during the day. We shouldn't need them. We have an oxygen shortage. Do we have a pipe leak? Why do we have an oxygen shortage? Because we have no oxygen production. Because the Moxie doesn't produce during dust storms. Oh, snot. Did I store enough oxygen? Well, we're consuming less than 1 per day, actually. And we have 90 stored. So, yeah, we're fine. Although, given that, I think it's going to be important to get a second storage for that. Life support. I think you don't need much, right? Yeah, it's just metal. So that's going to be easy peasy. Let's go and stick you up over here. And just for symmetry, I'm going to go and get a second water tower here. Doesn't function during cold waves. I don't think we've got a cold wave problem over here. Well, I think there's always a minimum of 1 tick, so there might be an odd chance of getting a cold wave, but it's really not something we're going to have to worry about regularly. We do have a power shortage, though. And we have plenty of power storage, so we'll probably be okay. We're producing 7.5 from each wind turbine right now, which ain't too shabby. I could go and turn off something like my concrete for now. We've got tons in the storage. But at the same time, we do have plenty of power, and the dust storm's not going to last that long, and then we'll get our solar panel working again. Yeah, I think we're okay. Did all the food get pulled out of there? It did. You are ready for takeoff. Oh, didn't notice you were blinking at me over here. Yep, we're going to launch. 4 drones will get... Oh, you can't launch during a dust storm. Ah, that's why you aren't actually blinking at me. You're on the list. Interesting. Okay, that's fine. Massive speed, we're good. You are all charged up. I guess the dust storm's not actually going to kill you, so we will send you out. It's a long way away, but I'm going to do this for the science boost. I really want to get the RC rover not needing any power anymore. It's such a convenient little upgrade.
Sector scanned.
And then, yeah, if we can get to the point of getting even more sensors a little further out over here. 50, 67, 53. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. We're not actually in a rush to scan it, but it just feels better if you're scanning at really high rates. Are you actually depleted? You're actually depleted. So we're going to go ahead and salvage you so that you don't need more maintenance. We'll actually salvage some machine components from that, which is going to be okay. We've got tons of concrete stored, so I'm not necessarily in a rush setting another one up. Though, you know, we certainly could. Now, I don't have the tech to actually blow this up and clear it so that we can recover this space here. You can see this dumping site had gotten filled up a while ago as well. So, it'll just be there for now, and that's okay.
Research complete. Anomaly analyzed.
Anomaly analyzed. Great. Oh, you still have plenty of power. I don't know if I want to send you out that far, though. I think what I'm going to do... Yeah, I'm going to send this Explorer back home to charge up again. And so rover command AI is done. Yeah, so this guy here has got a limit of 20, which I don't think is that important, but the power should always be 100% full, which is really nice. Also makes it a lot safer for us to go and decide to expand. So remind me again, what do we need for a sensor tower? Electronics and metal. So if I take my transport over here, and I go over here, and I tell you to pick up, I'm going to do control-click for 5 metal, control-click for 5 electronics, and then right-click to close this. My transport will go and pick up just a little of everything, which seems good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to send way out over here. I'm going to send the RC rover and the transport. And what we're going to do is we're going to send up a sensor tower over here. That's good. So now this rocket is ready to launch because there's no more dust storm. Excellent. We still have a little bit of metal like scattered here. I think that was actually a meteor strike that dropped a little bit of metal. Luckily, I hope they can't actually smash the rockets. I mean, presumably they're armored for like space flight and like micrometeor impacts or something like that. But conceivably, you could lose a rocket by doing this. The thing is, if it happened too early, you could get checkmated and just like the game would be like unplayable from that point. Later on, you do have the funds to perhaps buy more rockets, although it's not guaranteed. So I assume they're probably immune to rocket strikes, because otherwise it would be too brutal. All right, food situation. We've got you coming in, which is good. We're going to go ahead and we got a second soybean, and then we're going to start the soybean potato cycle. I like to do this. I mean, I really want soybeans to bring our soil quality up to 100%, but there's always a chance that I will forget to switch out of it in time to like the potatoes, and then I like to alternate between potato soybean to keep it at 100%, and then the high yield potato crops. So I do this to sort of split the difference. So the first potato crop will be at 70%, giving us tons of food. And I think that's probably a good way to do it. That way, if I forget to switch out, we still get some potatoes, and at some point I'll remember and cancel the second soybeans. Okay. Oh, this is a very high-grade concrete deposit? Oh, so we can actually extract it very quickly. And we don't technically need it. Oh, the dust storm is over, so I can go and toggle all the solar panels back on. Although it's night, so they're not opening quite yet, but that's okay.
Sector scanned.
Machine parts are coming in. We are going to have to bring in more polymers and probably more electronics from Earth. Now, I don't remember. Have we brought any of these factories yet? No. We do have the ability... Right, we don't have a prefab for the polymers, but we've got the tech for it. And actually, we have the tech here for electronics. We don't actually have to ship another one of these factories. As long as we ship enough raw material, which in this case actually requires a ton of electronics. The electronics factory is very frustrating that way. I mean, it's reasonable. It makes sense. But you need a ton of electronics to build it, and it needs electronics to maintain. This is one of those things where if you run out of electronics in your supply, you could get yourself sort of checkmated here because you don't have the ability to build more, and then you'll have to ship more from Earth. I think I'll queue that up. We're going to assume that this rocket here, we're going to send ourselves a bunch of polymers and electronics. And that's probably it. Maybe we might send a little bit more food just to have a bit more of a food stockpile. Systemic training, that was the boost to our scientists and botanists. I would like it very much if you moused over this and it would remind you what the tech actually did. Or if you clicked on it, in this window, maybe there was a like last tech thing or something, or like a little exclamation mark or something. Because when you get a lot of text and you unlock something and it's got a name you don't know, and you're like, yeah, okay, I don't know where that is. I don't know what category it's in, and you got to mouse over and remind yourself. Earth-Mars Initiative. Increase research by 100. If I control-click this, it puts it at the front of the queue. Obviously, that is a top priority. More science, more better in general, especially for us because it translates to money, which actually we're doing pretty good on cash now. I'm fairly pleased with that. So, the fuel is still slowly being applied to these things, which is fine. At some point, we are going to want to build the rocket hub, and we'll need at least 1 second fuel refinery, because basically one fuel refinery keeps your rocket hub going. Usually you end up with a little excess fuel, and that's going to be double the case for us, because our shuttles do require less fuel. So, one is definitely going to be enough to fill the rocket hub and refuel the shuttles, or the rockets, but I like to have two. I keep inverting the name. It's shuttle hub and a rocket. Anyway, the little flying thingies. You got this. Metals, concrete is good still. So, what is our next expansion plan? Well, I think we're going to end up building like a little bit more in this dome. We'll want to get a little bit more population. We might wait until we get the apartments. Then replace the lower level housing with apartments. Apartments don't have as much comfort, but we're going to add more social services. We'll probably get in a research lab. We'll have enough people to work the metals extractor, and we might actually set up a low-G fungi farm outside of the dome here, just to get like a lot of excess food. We could prioritize botanists over here, for example, so that we get and make this a sort of a farming-oriented dome with a little bit of secondary stuff. More or less, this is going to be a catch-all, at least for now. Anomaly found. Right, so first of all, you guys... I'm confused. You've got metal and electronics. You've got metal and electronics. Why aren't you building that? Do I actually have to dump it on the ground? I thought you used it. I thought they just used it from the machine last time we checked this. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to bring you back before you guys, like, get blown up by something. Far from home. So you go there. Transport, you're also coming here. And you...
Home on an alien world? That takes guts.
Hey! Olivia Johnson has the enthusiast trait. That's the spirit! So, let's go and pop some more anomalies. Anomaly. So the scanning here is going a lot faster. Let's go ahead and queue up more of this. There you go, just reveal more and more. We'll do the same thing down here. Probably build one here, because that should cover everything up. Now, at some point, this will all be uncovered. We're not going to go and dismantle the sensor towers yet, because there's actually going to be a second phase of scanning everything when we get the ability to deep scan. But that's going to be a little later, because you need the ability to deep scan, and then you need the ability to actually, like, exploit what you find from a deep scan. Well, I guess this is as good a place as any to put in a cut. We are going to go and send ourselves a rocket from Earth in the next episode. Again, almost certainly just loaded with polymers and electronics, and maybe a little bit of food, just to have a bit of a buffer in case anything goes terribly, terribly wrong. Machine parts count is going up. Metals count is still good, despite the fact that we're not mining, because there's a lot of it on the surface. One of the things that will be nice to see, how good is this metal? It's not a huge deposit, and it's very low grade. We've got 2 deposits over here, very high, and a good number, 1,000. Low, but that's not bad. I think we might set up another dome over here for the metal. Now, at some point, we are going to want to extract rich metals, or rare metals, I should say, like this one over here. It's low grade, average grade. At least it's not very low. Maybe actually our second dome will actually be over here. Because the rare metals, you can ship them back to Earth for money, although ideally what I'd like to do is convert all the rare metals into electronics. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. Plus, it gets us going towards the water here. Not that we've had much of a water problem so far, but it'll be nice to get a second water extractor set up. Now, the big question will be, do we run a bunch of cables way over here? Cables are very vulnerable. They have to be maintained and everything. We could have 2 completely separate bases with completely separate grids, but then the grid resource gets a little trickier to read because it's not actually one big clump. We could also just use underground tunnels. The advantage of underground tunnels is they never need any maintenance. And I think that's actually what we're going to do. It takes a fair amount of material to build, but that's kind of what I foresee over here. A lot of machine parts. The concrete and metal doesn't matter. It's the machine part count that's going to be kind of rough for us for a little bit, but we are starting to accrue them, so maybe. Thanks for watching. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.